Well, we brought up Joaquin Vincent from Corpus Christi to show us how to make a crooked tree. So it's all yours, sir.
I'm glad to be here. I feel privileged. I'm in Corpus Christi, Texas, and I've been a pipe fitter welder all my life and done some remodeling and such. And when just before I was going to retire, I had a buddy invite me to a wood turning club. And so that's taken over my life, the last 15 years, hardly even go fishing anymore. And so it's just been a great growing time. Other wood turners I've met and passed information on to me. And I've been putting James off for about 6 months, and finally Gordon called me and talked me to come up here. And mainly, it's the tree. I demoed this a couple of years ago at SWAT, and the women in turn, Wick, with Sally Alt and Cheryl and all of them. I had one of the first classes on Friday, and here's all these featured turners demoing, and I'm the only regional doing it that morning, and they all show up, and I said, "What are y'all doing here? All these other guys are turning, and you come to see me?" And Sally Alt, if you know her, she said, "Joaquin, we didn't come to see you. We come to see how to turn a leaning Christmas tree." So I figure that's why y'all are here tonight. As I go, you think it's difficult, but it's not. When you get to seeing what all we do here, you'll wonder why in the world you didn't think of it. That's the attitude I had about it. So the drawing in your hand, um, what makes this unique, like when you do an offset, you'll start at a point and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But to get the center through it and then go your distances on each side of the center, you don't have all this wobble. So you end up like point number 1, how it's angling over here, and you finish up over here. It's like you've turned a banana inside your blank. And that makes it real simple. The dimensions I have on this drawing, I think they're just happen to be the dimensions off this tree here. So I just measured this tree, and that's how we ended up with them. And nothing's written in stone. The 3/16 that I picked for this particular one, 3/16-inch spacers, you can actually you can go different spaces. They don't all have to be the same. You can even start way over here and finish in the center or past center. And where I've had some issues or cases to do that is when you got the pit in. Well, anyway, you end up, if you got the pit ends up here. So you want to be picky about where you do the line and going back and forth. Let me get this out of here. Let's see. Where's your... Give me overhead on this. So if you look real close, we got a pit right here. So you want to go in line like this and putting your graduations in. You don't want to go this way, or you're going to have the pit over here on this side, and it just don't do as good as when it's right here on the back side. It kind of finishes up real well. And otherwise, I don't try to do them with a pit, but sometimes that's what you got, and so you're going to try it out. This can be turned between centers. You don't need a chuck to turn it. Matt was going to demo this, and he had this drawing, and he asked me, could I do it with a chuck? Yeah, you can do it with a chuck. And so that's what that drawing is made up to, where you can do it between centers or you can do it with the chuck. You want to run this. These are just some trees. And my wife has a Christmas tree forest, and it's a big deal at our house at Christmas. There'll be trees as centerpieces on the table, and my wife has a big drawing for them, and there's a big fight over them, and it's just a fun thing to do. And that's just some of them she's got. Putting the cross on, putting a star on is makes them stand out a little bit more. I know all y'all have seen Corey White's trees, and he put these little finials and stars and stuff on his. He does a great job. Go ahead. And so I'm going to talk a little bit later about that one. I didn't ring that tree. Anyway. And those are some that when we was up in Fort Worth, remember when they were demoing that, James, where they just took a log and that's about an inch away from the bark on the top, and then about 3 or 4 inches down here, and so you get that bark side on those trees. I don't know how many I made one Thanksgiving and put them down to shop, and they all sold. They were something new, and that's my wife's Christmas tree forest that she puts out every year. And there's some ornaments. Okay. Is that it? Okay, that one right there, the little short tree, it doesn't look anything like these. The reason it doesn't, because when I got on point number 5, I finished the point in the lathe, so it ended up being a straight point. So you'll see when we get this turned to this point, we take a saw and saw it off, and then we start sanding and finishing it. Get this. Now look, epoxy wood, those are hers. She's got a good video out. There's about 4 videos out on this. Mike Peace just put out one. There's a German guy. You can't understand what he's saying. He does a pretty good one. I think he does a good one. And she doesn't talk in it. She just starts doing it. But see how close the trunk is to the edge here on that picture? Yeah, I want to leave the picture up. Now see how close that is to the edge? You need to think ahead if you don't like that, which I don't like that. But it's pretty cool, for what it is. You got the next one? This is the guy from Germany that does them, and you notice that one dark one. See how far over it is, or the top is over? Well, it's just a little too long in that section to make it look that way. And you got to pay attention to the length. You got to pay attention to the diameter of your trunk here. We'll call that the trunk going down through there. Okay, what do we got next? And that one there would have been, if he'd have made that diameter right underneath the tip smaller, I think it'd be more attractive. That's in my eyes, what I think. Otherwise, all below looks great. What else? Those are some of my trees, and just a kilometer. Well, that's these trees up here. And so that's just what I try to do ahead of time. Okay. What about the PowerPoint? Yes. Are there any questions about the drawing? I try to make that self-explanatory where you can just, look at the picture and see what's going on. Go to the next one. Okay, the recess. I just feel safer putting this 1/4 inch recess on here and putting it on your 4-point drive. You can wiggle it all around. It's really safe. And if I've really got a piece of wood that's lumpy and stuff, I also drill a 3/4 inch hole here and my 1 inch hole here until I get it where I want it, just for safety. To stay on the drawing, please. Oh, you went back real quick. Jim, good job. All right, next one. Okay, this particular tree that we're doing is with the diameter was 3.5 by 8.5. 9 would be better for the point. Next one. So this is the one that we chose, a 5 section with a 3/4 inch offset. That's what all the 3/16 spaces ended up at. I find on some of these YouTubes, these guys doing it, between 4 and 5, they use a lesser dimension for some reason. I don't know why yet. I hadn't figured it out. Next one. Okay. Go back. 3, number 3. Yeah, it's the center right here. Yes. And then you go each side of it. And it just, you don't get all this wobbling around when you do that. This one, this is a 7 section with a total of 1.5 inches offset on it. I had 7 points. Mm-hmm. So, I had the center points, so I had 3 on each side. So we're lined up on number 1 there. So we'll do that here. The more sections you can get. I'm going to call them sections. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to make a leaning Christmas tree here with a star on it. But I want more curve. Now, all I did was whatever space I had up here, I put points 1/8 inch apart. So as I turned them, I had a little rim. It was, and then I just sanded it like this. And so I don't know whether I'm going to reach that goal, but I'm going to shoot for it until I get some kind of curve and star hanging on it. I got a bunch of Charlie Brown trees. I got a shelf of them where they're broke or with limbs, the branches broke, and the kin folks that come over, they go digging through it, and can I have that? So what you want to do, though, you want to start out making your bottom section. I haven't numbered them, but oh, and when I go in between doing sections, remind me to move this on the point to the next point. I don't know how many times the other day I was turning on the same point. So you want to go back to that PowerPoint? So that's number 1. Go to the next one. Let's say we're going to put, so I'm going to put a tenon on here, the foot, and the first section at this point right here. Now you can finish this between points without a chuck. But when you do, you need to leave this on here, all your points. So you're all the way over here to 5, okay? So this is 6. When you want to part this off, you go back to number 1, and it's where you started with this vertical bottom. But with a chuck on it, there's my bottom right there. It doesn't change because it goes back up against the chuck where I was, then I can part it off. Any questions? Yes. On your drawing, just hold it where it's the bottom of it's parallel or level, and you'll see the tree. Look inside the blank there, and you can see how it's leaning. Okay. I was telling James, so the last minute I'm loading up, got everything in there. I go out and open the gate, the driveway, and I go, "You didn't put your tools in the truck, Joaquin." Yeah. So see, that's back on number 1. So you can part it off. You got the tree leaning like so. When you was on 5, it was like this, or 6 on this one. And so when you start off and you put your shoulder on there for your chuck, You can always go back to it. It's there. Let's make some shavings. I've talked long enough. But I use these spigot jaws so that I've got more meat to hold on to, and I can make my tendon longer where I can really get a hold of it and feel safe about it. Okay, this has got a 0. This is the first time turn on Laguna. Forward. That's in reverse. Y'all checking me out, right? Okay. I usually turn probably around 1,000. Bouncing around quite a bit. Oh, I feel comfortable there. I'm going to use a Badan. Go ahead and cut this off and put the tendon on. That's pretty dark in there, James. A little bit. Okay, we're also going to, I'm going to bevel each end of that to make it like a socket, you know, ball socket. So I'll take my shoe and just run it in on one side, then the opposite side. I'm happy with that. Let's see, I need to measure the diameter to this. So if we go by the drawing, that's 4 inches. We're going to go with a 3.5. The first, what's my first diameter of the bottom? Oh, it's not on that drawing. Okay, never mind. We'll get close. A little bit smaller than that. I'll leave enough room there for a foot and for just a little bit to part off down here. And now we're going to all right, what's my first dimension for the between branches? Okay. So I'm going to part that. You got to watch these wings. That is the wings on your bow gouge. when you get so far in there, you need to turn it sideways, vertical, or get off of it. Let me part that right in there more. What are we looking like here? That'd be okay. And usually, my bevel's on a 45. So I just told I'm going in a perpendicular and I'm following this bevel going in. It just happens to work. Good, and you watch that wing. Don't let that wing catch. I'm gonna make that a little smaller. How about there? I will when down in there. When I do the final cut, I'll use a spindle gouge. I just seem to have more control. This 3/8 has really got, it's a V gouge, Thompson D gouge, and it's pointed and it's really ground with the Irish grind where it's almost straight like it. Sir? Now I'm going to go in there with the spindle gouge. Where I can get a tighter fit. It's got a lot of shadow in here. And a lot of times, all right, I'm in there. I'll do a shear cut on the way out. On these, I do, yeah. On my other trees, I do that. Okay, if you're going to sand, now's the time to sand while you're in this position. So I won't make much sanding dust here, just give you an idea. So we're ready to move on. I got a little bit of ring there. I can sand that out, but we're going to move on. So we need to go to point number 2. Now you could choose to go with your chuck, or you can keep on going to between centers. What's the next one? 1 1/8? It's close to 3 1/2. Oh man, that's 3 3/4. And I did do an eyeball on it, but that's 2 inches. And I probably should make that smaller, but I'm not. We're going to see how it works out. Where's my... Huh? Sir? Yeah, I usually half inch, reduce a half inch, and or eyeball. Okay. Yep. See how that quieting down, getting back to the center, close to the center. But it gives us the flat bottom here also, and then the depth you want to go to in between the branches on the trunk. I should have took more wood off that before I started. You can tell this pretty cotton picking dry. Huh? An idiot. I'm sorry? I'm out of good wood, Brenda. Well, I miss you bringing me pecan. You know, Brenda's from our club down in Corpus, right? You know, she's a secretary. She's a hard worker, you know. We've had a lot of fun. All right, I'm going to get that spindle gouge and go in here. What did we end up with there? That looks like, you know, you can just eyeball the thing, but you know, I have kind of fun with taking these measurements and see what I did and what I ended up with. And that's about 3/8 smaller. Okay. If you're going to sand now. You can come back, though, and sand later. You just have to move all these points. All right, we want to move it to number 3. See, it's pretty cotton picking simple, ain't it? Hmm? So now we're back to center with our blank. Let's see what we got back here on the foot. That's the foot it's going to set on. So I need to take some wood off here too. Any questions? What are you thinking? I keep asking myself the same question. I did use it on the foot. I mean, tenon. Man, I bet they would, James. Would he really? You'd be using a stew on this, Steve? Here, I got a stew. Won't you show it? That's going to be your next demo down there. We got a lot of people that, that would love to master it. What have we got, an inch now? Do y'all follow Steve Jones on the wood turner? That guy is totally unbelievable, guys. Golly. I'm always asking him questions. What's your bubble? What you do? And he just, and he, yeah. And they look the same, and he didn't even use a story. Well, he uses a storyboard, but the diameters and stuff, it's crazy. Okay. Don't let that wings kiss that. Come over here and take that out of the way. That reminds me, at SWAT, I was demoing the birds. Gordon asked me to bring my birds, the elegant sandhill crane. I was demoing these. And I was just going to tell y'all, I can't turn and talk at the same time. And we just watched this guy, Scott Hamilton, turn. And he talked through the whole thing. Every cotton picking move he made, every time he twisted it. And I told him that. He just happened to walk in the room and say, "Joaquin, do you say I talk too much?" It was hilarious. I was bragging on him, All right, where we at? We need to get this branch down to. Let's see, let's check that diameter real quick. We'll make that about 2 7/8. And let's see, we like about 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch total. I need to get a little more depth on the parting cut. Close. I don't think I got that center small enough, huh? In proportion. Do I? That's a 1/4 inch smaller. What do you think? Okay, I'm going. All right, we went from 1, 2, 3. We're center with our original blank right now, right? And so I do this to teach people to where they can do it between centers or where they can use the chuck. So we're going to put the chuck on now. Sir? I didn't hear you. Yeah, we'll stand first. Thank you. Y'all paying attention? I like it. At this point, don't you all think you can go home and iron one? Even at this point right now. Mm-hmm. Knockout bar. It's on here. Yeah, let's hold it. well, well, it said go right. Well, I'd go my right, but they didn't mean my right. Yeah, I think the hardest thing about this turning is get the tip right. Were you happy with it? Okay. We're on number 4. No. We're on number 4. And I don't want to, I just want to kiss it up there. I don't want it tight. Now I'm going to tighten the chuck. And then I'll put the center drive in there. I just go to the chuck. After I do the first part. Yes. But that's most important to do the bottom on between centers first. Then go to your chuck. In my opinion, I think that's what I'm saying. This is not a one-way. That old Nova. I tell you, I admire Cindy. The way when she teaches her do her IRDs, she doesn't matter who's in the room. She gets all the way down to a beginner's level, and where everybody can do it. I'll take a little more wood off here. 4. We're moving to 4. Yeah. Then when I changed it and put it in the chuck, did I? Yeah. Speed. All right, you're between centers on this, right? You want to sand and cut this off and do that tip with the curve and everything, right? Okay, so, but if you leave this on, you can go back to number 1. While it's still in here. Well, right now, going back to the number 1 point, you can cut it off straight or part it off. Of course, you don't have to do that. You can take and cut it off with a saw. You don't have to part it off. You can take and put it on a sander and sand it off. And so there are different ways to do it. I feel more comfortable and safe with this. You know, when I get some RPMs up, I feel safer with it. But I turned them in the beginning just between centers like this. But then, with the chuck on it, you'll see when I get to the tip, the chuck is my vise, and it's holding it, and I can do all this sanding and stuff you're going to see me do, and sawing it off, with this being a vise to hold it, instead of going over here on the table and do some sawing and working it and trying to hold it. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, when I get through here, I can just slap it back up. Here's number one, the back of the foot of the Christmas tree, and you're back on number one. And you also use it to hold it and do all your sanding and just barely kissing it up against there. Mm-hmm. And you just, with regular jaws, you know, just standard jaws, on that one, it's just barely holding it, your tenon. But you got this in there that helps. I did one yesterday with these just so I could talk about, say, you can do it. And, you know, if you've got that problem, if it is a problem, you can always go back to centers, your 4-point drive. Okay? Pretty good, guys. Yeah, see where I was on 2 and 3, it was real nice and steady. Now I'm on 4, it's getting wobbly again. Are we tight? Did that move? Okay. All right. I guess right there, huh? Did you just stew in this area too? You're pretty good with the stew also, huh, Billy? All right, let's see. We got some wood out of the way. Yeah? Tiny one? Okay, I'm going to take that down a little bit. Let's see. Where are we going? 7/8? Like I said, guys, this ain't written in stone. You can change this up, do whatever you want to with it. I need to get rid of some of this wood too. Yeah, I was thinking about that. That sure looks short of 7/8. And it's not good enough. But it'll do. Take it a little bit. Oop. Now, I don't know whether I got that small enough. I think it ought to be a little bit smaller. You know, if you look at it too, you've got a sort of just a natural curve on that back side that you want to kind of maintain, that you can. And that's what we're trying to do. And I think that needs to be. I'm just going to go to 2 inches and see how that works like. I'm going to go back to 3 like was suggested, because I've got a bunch of sawing. I'm going to be wasting some time here and grinding and doing this point. So I'm going to go back to 3, turn this smaller in diameter. Yeah, it would have. But sometimes I change my mind about how much y'all really want to go a 3/16. Hey, I want to jump to a 3/8 or something like that. But this was too big a blank to begin with. You know, it was 4 inches. But I should have done that on this one. Huh? Yeah. Isn't he amazing? Man. He thinks nothing about those mistakes and catches, and he just. Go too high. Right. And it's thinking ahead on this. Like I said, you know, those that where the branch is so close to the trunk, it's not appealing to me. Maybe to other people. Left-handed, Goofy. Okay. That's going to be more workable. What's your thoughts, guys? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't pass these around. This one, I did do something like that. I didn't use point 4 and 5. I used point 1, 2, 3, then I went back to 2, 1. And I tried to get that right in that space of 3/8 of an inch. And it looked pretty good, but I never did finish it. Randy, we were talking about doing this, but doing these in a circle, or maybe doing them in a circle on the bottom, and doing these points. And I think I tried one time. Okay. And you can see where we're going with this. This last, where am I? I'm sorry, Jim. This last point, I'm going to go in and out. Remember what I told you? See how that's going now? It would just go straight up if you finish turning the point in the lathe. And so you'll see I got a saw cut here where we're just lining up with the back side of this. We're going to cut it off. Okay, we're on point number 5. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Well, let's see. I think somebody might get to take this home saw up to sand it. Sorry? I was noticing, I don't like it. In proportion. See how skinny this one is? That one is not in proportion between this one and that one. See that?
Have you ever seen a perfect tree?
No. And let's see. What does Pat Curl say? For demonstration purposes. But I mean, that's stuff, I'm pointing that out, things for you to look at, and as you go, and to make it proportional and appealing.
Put it back to 5?
It's on 5. No, it's not. That's what I need, I'd guarantee you. Okay. Yes, sir. All right. I'm going to do. Very good. I sure don't like that. But for demonstration purposes, Yeah. Don't like that. What's it looking like? Oh, I had a piece break off. Well, shucks. I didn't take enough off a while ago. I'm acting like an amateur here. Yeah, this piece here, I really made a big mistake by not coming on down and making it smaller here on the end. So anyway, y'all learn from that, huh? Turn a lot of air here. It's mesquite. Hmm. So the biggest thing about is preparation, you know, and that is my fault for not preparing this for this situation with all this on the end right here. Okay, and I apologize for that. And so I did have a piece break off here, so uh, Go ahead and take it down to that diameter. What do you think? You want to take it down? Well, it's for a demo. I mean, it is a demo. So either way we go, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So what it looks like. Yeah. It'll be a little out of proportion, but trees are not perfect, as Billy said. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'll do something different here. I'm going to take it down. Hey, baby. I'm just taking it down to I still got some breakout. It looked like it. Now see, now I'm getting at what I don't like. You know. Mm-hmm. You're right. I mean, see, with the jaws on there, you can go back to all of them. Now you won't get the same clamp and bite that you had, but it'd be close enough, huh? I don't like that. And I probably think some of them pictures that I showed you I didn't like, probably that's what happened to the guy when he was turning it. Yeah. So see how that is right there? Hmm. Y'all got time for that? How many? Okay. All right. I will go back and just take a little bit right here off, okay? No, I'm talking about this one right here. Oh, you want to make this the point? Yeah. Well, you could do that. Have a 4 section instead of 5? Hmm? Well, I think that's what Robert's saying. You know, that's what I'm trying to do. Yeah, with this top one right here. Oh. Oh, see. I'm going to take a little bit off. Well, you know, I most definitely want people to learn from this, and also, okay. I mean, it ain't going to be much. Now I need to worry about not getting it so thin it breaks off when I'm doing the top. Well, it didn't improve it much, did it? Huh? Mhm. Sir? The back of this? Yeah. Yeah. Huh? No, whatever this is right here. We, yeah. Whatever we got right there. You know, we're going to cut that off. Then we're going to sand it to fit. All right? That's too much of an angle. I really need to have this wood off, but maybe we can take. Come on, don't get in so much of a hurry. But y'all learn from that, I'm sure, huh? Feel like a hammer. Billy's really good at covering up mistakes and make it funny, and I really like watching his demos. So we know we should have turned this smaller in the beginning, right? Okay, mistake. Yeah. The old saying you used to hear from your dad, do as I say, not as I do. Yeah. Take a little pressure off and it'd be better. Do what? I know it. I'm, I'm, I'm afraid of it breaking the tip off. Sorry about this, guys. Okay. I'm going to put the so now we got it as a vise, as a clamp. I'm gonna go to I regret not turning that down. I should have took the time to turn that down, guys. Come on, baby. You're not recording this, are you? All right. Sometimes I don't know what it is about being a demo. You just lose your thought, not thinking ahead. Yeah. I'm just going to go to 80 grit real quick. Let me know if it gets too bad. If you got carving tools, you might want to use carving tools. Got an edge there. I used to get my Fordham out and all these carving tools and all that and just really work with it. And I was in a hurry one day and I used this and I said, nothing wrong with that. You can do whatever you want to with it. Yeah. All right, let's see. To do that, I need to be back on 5. Okay, what do's and don'ts did y'all learn today? Huh? About turning this offset Christmas tree. Huh? Oh, Robert. Oh, you know. Well, one thing is thinking ahead about proportion, you know. And this is a dumb looking Christmas tree. And to correct it, I would go back down and start cutting these smaller to be in ratio with that tip. If I wanted to keep it. Huh? Huh? So, pretty dumb looking to me. I mean, I've been turning the offset Christmas tree for about 4 or 5 years, and it wasn't until 3 years ago that I started doing it this way, and so I'm a whole lot more particular. And here I am in San Antonio, Texas, demoing and not doing it right. So, what else you suggest? What do you think? Tell me something you learned or not. See that? Yeah, thank you very much. Mhm. But like I say, if I using a chuck, if you wanted to keep that, you go back in there and do a little work on it. It may look worse, it may look better, but you've got that problem, you know, like this backside broke off, so I didn't have a choice but to do this. And well, thank you. Yes, yeah, I would put it up here, fix this bottom up. I don't want to get the bottom too skinny while I'm out here doing all this flopping around. And so I'd do everything here I wanted to do like right now. Mhm. Yeah. So anyway, thank you very much. It's better than my demo in Austin, Texas. Did I tell you all that? I was doing the bird with a Paul Howard offset chuck, and I'd used it about 6 times, and it was actually wore out, and I didn't know it because it would fit on these dovetails and it's plywood. Right at the very end, it broke and hit the floor, and I didn't get to finish it. Anyway, thank you very much. I really appreciate it, guys. Mm-hmm. Hey, I see pictures. Show me pictures on Facebook. There's 45 millimeter spigot jaws. 45 millimeter spigot jaws? Yeah.